Okay, so today we looked at circumference and you just completed the investigation on page 336. So remember again, circumference is distance around a circle. This is the thing that I liken circumference to. Circumference is just the perimeter of a circle. That's it. It's a fancy name for the perimeter of a circle. And so real quick, you should have had a nifty little chart that you filled in. What I need you to do right now is I need you to go ahead and figure out the ratio. So to find the ratio, I need you to take their circumference and divide it by the diameter on each of the objects that you had to do. Yes, you're going to get a decimal approximation, and that's fine. But I need you to go through and do this ratio fairly quick, and then we will compare your answers. Okay, so when you divided those, you should have found that your numbers should have been really, really close to some number, and that number should have been approximately 3.14, which is pi. And so if C is their circumference and D is the diameter of the circle, then there is a number pi such that C equals pi times the diameter.
Oh, conjectures.
Okay, so the circumference equals pi times the diameter, and we just calculated that. Okay, if D equals 2r, where r is the radius, then the circumference equals 2 pi r. And so a long time ago, that's actually how they discovered what pi is. They took the circumference of something and they divided it by the diameter. Now, if you're really precise, now granted with ours, we didn't get it exactly to work out because obviously you're using string and there's lots of room for error. Okay? But that's how they discovered pi. And in fact, the number they used was 22/7, that fraction. So, we generally use a pi button on our calculator, but if you were to take 22 divided by 7, you'll get a number pretty doggone close to pi. So, some places tell you to use 22/7, some people tell you to use 3.14, some people tell you to use the pi button. So now what we're going to do is look at some example problems. Okay? Oh, skipped it, sorry. We'll go back. Ah, we're skipping. There we go. Holy cow. We're having some issues. There we go. If a circle has diameter 3.0 meters, what is the circumference? Round your answer to the nearest tenth. So we know our formula. C equals pi times the diameter. So let's plug in what we know. Okay, we know that pi button on our calculator, and I'm going to take that times 3. Now when you use that pi button on your calculator and take it times 3, you should come up with a number that is what?
3 pi.
Well, it's 3 pi, but then if you can hit the decimal approximation, which is the double arrow. Hit that double arrow. What? 9.43. This one says to round to the nearest tenth, so my answer would be 9.4 meters.
Is it okay if we just use 3.14, or do you want us to use pi?
It depends on the problem. Okay, let's look at this next one. This next one says if a circle has circumference 12 pi meters, what is the radius? So once again, we have C equals pi times D, but this one asks us for the radius. So I'm going to use the formula C equals 2 pi times R. Okay, that's the formula I'm going to use. Let's plug in what we know. We know that the circumference is 12 pi, and that's going to equal 2 pi times r. And so some of you can probably already see what the answer is. Just for sake of anybody watching, I'm going to go ahead and work it out. And so in order to, oops, yeah, I just wrote the answer, didn't I? Okay, so now it's 2 pi times r. And so now in order to solve that, I'm going to go ahead and divide by 2 pi because I need to solve for r. Now when I do that, what ends up happening is on the left side, 2 goes into 12 6 times. My pi's cancel. On the right side, the 2 pi's cancel, and you're left with r to equal 6. You do need your label, which is meters. And that's it. Questions? Short assignment. Should be able to zip through it. Pages 337, 338, 1 through 12. Due tomorrow.
Do you want us to turn in an assignment?
Yep.
All the stuff?